Hey guys, this is James with thegraymattersblog.com coming to you on another one of my walks through the beautiful South Texas woods. Today I'm going to be doing what's going to be the start of a new series called The Truth Behind the Monsters. Today's feature, we're going to be doing zombies. As you can see, I'm coming over this nice little rickety wooden bridge we've got here over a very swampy brook, which is the only kind we have around here. Don't worry, I checked for trolls before passing, and I have a billy goat in my pocket if necessary. So, we're going to talk about zombies today, the truth behind the monsters. And what I wanted to talk about is the fact that most stories about monsters are not about monsters. We're going to take zombies as our first case study. Zombie movies, zombie stories are not about zombies. Zombie stories are about people. And what we mean by this is the zombies are always just a catalyst. The modern zombie movies started with Night of the Living Dead. You know, there were kind of other movies that featured kind of zombie-like creatures, but they weren't the modern zombie. Night of the Living Dead was it. If you watch Night of the Living Dead, one, you'll notice that it's actually still a really good movie, even after all this time, when most movies from that era don't hold up near as well. And one of the things that you'll see is that it's about interpersonal relationships. It's about our main character, the protagonist, who comes in, and he's this very stoic, very intelligent, calm, cool, collected, no-nonsense guy who comes in and just takes charge. And then then you have the other guy who comes out of the basement, the bald older dude who tries to take control of the group because he's just this dominant but actually really foolish and aggressive guy, but doesn't have the same leadership qualities the main character has. We also see, unfortunately for the time, pretty much all of the women portray really bad leadership qualities. We have We have our character from the cold open, Barbara, who pretty much becomes a non-character throughout the rest of the movie. But even her, we see her falling apart, and all of this is character-driven drama. And that's all that the movie's about, is just about these characters. The zombies are just there to put stress on the characters and make them act a certain way. It's to see, okay, how do these characters interact when they're being pressed, when their survival is on the line? And it's just there to make that happen. The Walking Dead being the most famous. Here we're at another crossroads. We're going to take a right today. Again, don't worry, I have an iron horseshoe nail in my pocket, so we should be okay. It's with the billy goat. So whenever we're talking about The Walking Dead, again, we're looking at characters. We're looking at a small town sheriff. We're looking at a redneck on a motorcycle with a crossbow, and how these people interact with this new world. Because post-apocalyptic zombie stories are a little different than the other kind. And when we're talking post-apocalyptic zombie stories, we're talking, what would people do if all their safety nets were removed? And if you were to remove all their safety nets, all their society, what would happen when you bring things up like survival, like tribalism, like xenophobia, and you bring all these subjects together, and people want to know, okay, what would different people do? What would different kinds of people do? What does the hard, racist redneck, like in Merle Dixon, how does he react? How do the soft city folk react? And you get to describe and get to explore these characters so much in depth because the zombies are there to put pressure on them. Most zombie stories, the zombies actually represent some kind of real-life catastrophe. Of course, post-apocalyptic type zombies represent literal world-ending events, but even like Night of the Living Dead represented more regional disasters, something that might actually, a hurricane, an earthquake, a flood, something that might trap you in a house with a bunch of other people as you're all trying to survive. A lot of the semi-apocalyptic stories actually represent something that all of us have a lot of experience with lately, which is your kind of global pandemic type situation where the world isn't over, but it's extreme pressure put on everyone, and for some people, the world is literally over. All right, guys, I'm coming up on a tree in my path, so I'm actually going to consider that a great place to stop this video. I'm trying doing it just a little bit shorter this time to see how that works for you guys. I had a few people say that they thought a shorter, more concise video would work, so we're going to end it on this lovely tree blocking my path. Guys, again, as I said, make sure you like and subscribe. Really helps us out. If you're in If you got here from Facebook, you may have to log into your actual YouTube app, but please take the time to do that. Search for us at The Gray Matters Blog right on YouTube. We come right up, and it really helps us out. Thank you guys for coming on my walk with me, and we'll talk more about monsters on my next walk.